Are you worried about the high import bill on food? Does Nigeria have the potential to produce enough food for her citizens? The deployment of agricultural biotechnology has the potential to tackle the challenge of poor yield, pest infestation, disease attack, drought, and other environmental challenges. Biotechnology in Focus is a program designed to enlighten you on the benefits of application of modern science in agriculture as against the misleading information against the technology. Join Ifeanyi Ugoke as he engages seasoned experts, scientists, and other relevant stakeholders on agricultural biotechnology on Thursdays, 10:05 a.m. on Vision FM 92.1 Abuja. Agricultural biotechnology, a sure way to food security in Nigeria.
The land is green, it's green, oh, oh.
Glad to have you join us on this maiden edition of the program, Agricultural Biotechnology in Focus, on Vision 92.1 FM, Abuja. My name is Ifeanyi Ugoke. Agricultural Biotechnology in Focus is a program designed to enlighten you on agricultural biotechnology and its economic benefits. On this edition of the program, our topic of discussion is how safe is genetically modified organisms, otherwise known as GMO. With me to discuss the topic is Dr. Rose Maxwell Gidado. She is an assistant director at the National Biotechnology Development Agency, NABDA, and also the country coordinator of Open Forum on Agricultural Biotechnology, OFAB. You are welcome to this maiden edition of Biotechnology in Focus on 92.1 Vision FM.
Thank you very much, Ifeanyi.
To set the ball rolling, what is agricultural biotechnology all about?
Agricultural biotechnology is all about the use of scientific tools in the improvement of crops, animals, and microorganisms to actually make them disease resistant in terms of crops and animals, insect pest resistance, nutritional enhancements. You can do all. You can design crops to the needs of people. With this technology, you can design crops for diabetic patients, for hypertensive patients, for any type of disease, depending on what kind of disease someone is suffering from, what kind of foods doctors are telling you to eat. And so there's a lot of things that you can do with this technology. In the form of animals like cattle, you can actually develop cattle to be able to produce more meat, that's beef, or to be able to produce more milk. It's based on the understanding of the DNA. Scientists discovered DNA many years ago, around the 1950s, and then they studied the structure, and they found out where the genes are located. However we look like, there are genes, specific genes, that are responsible for the way we look like. Our living system, the function of the living system it's all dependent on our genes. And so based on the understanding of that, of course, if I have a crop that is resistant to some insects, maybe some few groups of insects, based on the understanding of that DNA, there must be a gene that is making my crop to be susceptible to certain diseases, or making my animal to also be susceptible to certain diseases. Then I can now work on that gene. I can either remove it, edit it out, or I can bring in a gene from another source and put inside that will make it to be resistant to those insects, or to be drought tolerant, or to be flood tolerant, or to be able to have some nutrients, some micronutrients. So there are so many things you can actually do. That knowledge that we have, we could actually use it, just to make life comfortable for ourselves, to make life convenient.
What is the level of awareness? What role has OFAB played to sensitize the public on the benefits of this technology?
Yeah, OFAB has played tremendous role in sensitizing the public. We've done quite a lot. We were launched in 2009, and I think we're 9 years now that we have been doing this public education, trying to communicate the science behind the development of crops, development of animals. We have now a closed gap, between the media community and us, and the public, like that close gap, that gap that existed before OFAB came into being between the scientists developing these crops and the general public. The gap has been like a little close. We know that Nigeria is large, diverse and all, but I think we've been to different parts of the country, and we have used a lot of different strategies, not only organizing workshops, seminars, trainings, seeing is believing tours, but we are also on social media. We have so many platforms. We have a platform on Facebook, we have a platform on Twitter, we have Twitter handle, we have LinkedIn, we are on LinkedIn, and we are on Snapchat, I think we're on Instagram, we're all everywhere. We have blogs, we have website where we post out information, we share scientific, well researched, high quality information, scientific information. We network during workshops. We do all kinds one-on-one engagements with different people in the society, the policymakers, the lawmakers, whom, if they are well sensitized, if they are made to understand this technology better, of course, they will make informed policy decisions. Once the people know about the science, I think all those fears that have actually been put in them, that the anti-GM group peddle around, the misinformation they carry about just to create panic and fears in people, will all be allayed. Because once you understand something, because information is very key in this, very critical. Information is knowledge, and you know that knowledge is power. Once people have the information about anything, all the fears go away and they become very comfortable, and this will actually enhance, the better understanding will actually enhance the adoption of this technology, the adoption of genetically modified crops and animals by the society, by the general public, and people will make informed decisions. It's good for people to really be educated about it, and we have been doing all sorts, like I mentioned, seeing is believing tours, taking people to where these crops are being demonstrated, where confinement field trials are being carried out, the crops are being tested, evaluated, for safety, for agronomic performance, for gene efficacy and all, because you know that you have brought in a gene from somewhere and you have actually incorporated a gene, for the kind of trait that you want. You want it for nutritional enhancement, fine. You want it to be able to resist some insects and diseases, fine. So because I have brought a gene from an unrelated species to a related species, of course I have to check, as this gene that has come in, is it doing its work? Is it efficacious? Is it making the crop to be able to be protected from the insects and all? I have to check, okay, once I confirm that the gene is working, then the next thing is that, are there any interactions? This gene that I have brought in, has it brought in some things to the plant, introduce new proteins to the plant, that are not beneficial, that are not? So I have to check. So all these checks and what and balance, they take like about 10, 13, 14 years for a breeder to come out with a very wholesome, very safe, genetically modified crop or animal. So the awareness still on. It's quite an enormous task, and I think we are up to it.
You talked about a confined field trial of some crops. What role has AATF played in supporting this cutting-edge technology in Nigeria?
Actually, AATF has been playing a lot of role. AATF is a non-governmental international organization. They are based in Kenya. They actually promote public-private partnerships. They've been collaborating with public institutions, and they access these technologies that are IP protected. These technologies that are proprietary technologies. When I say proprietary, they're not like they're developed by multinational companies. When companies develop a technology, because they spend their own money, they do their own research and all. So they have to, at the end of it, of course, protect it. It's not made public. It's not everyone that can have access. And so some seeds that are being developed, what ATF does, ATF goes into negotiation. They get the seeds. When they get those seeds, they get them, that is IP free. They get them free, and then they deliver these seeds to the public sector, public institutions. Like in Nigeria, they have actually been working with Institute for Agricultural Research, Zaria, IER, and they've also been working with NABDA in the area of awareness creation and also technology development. So they access those seeds and give them to the public institutions, and the public institutions further develop those seeds. Because on our own, because the seeds are IP protected, if we say we have to get this directly, of course, it's going to cost us a lot of money or so. So what that's the role that ATF have been playing. Once they develop the seeds together with the public institutions in the various countries, in African countries, not just in Nigeria, but other countries in Africa like Kenya, like Burkina Faso, like Ghana, and Tanzania, Uganda, and all. They are working in 10 countries in Africa, so that the technology can get down to the farmers, can get down to people, to the general public, so that farmers can have access. Because once these public institutions, an example, of course, is the cowpea, is the beans that we are actually working on. And today, we are almost done with the beans. The beans will soon be commercialized by the Institute for Agricultural Research, Zaria, and farmers will have access to those seeds. Farmers do not have to pay for the technology. The seeds will be there, and the seeds will be sold by the seed companies. So you see, this is like domesticating the technology, making the technology to be our own, because the beans that is being developed are our local varieties. The farmers preferred local varieties, so farmers are already used to it. So the case of the problem of adoption does not arise, because it's a beans, is a variety that they are used to. What has been developed is the gene, the new gene that has been introduced into that beans to make the beans to be resistant, to be protected from this Maruca insect larva, the Maruca larva that causes a lot of damage to beans when farmers plant it during flowering stage. And the loss incurred most times is up to like 80 to 90%. But with this new variety of beans that we have now, of course, the Maruca damage will not be there.
How safe are these genetically modified products?
They are very safe. They are not harmful to humans because they are highly regulated. We have in Nigeria an agency, the National Biosafety Management Agency, that has the mandate, the responsibility to ensure that the use, handling, transportation of genetically modified products in Nigeria are done safely. There is no harm to the environment, no harm to humans and all. The safety of genetically modified organisms, products and all, of course, are being endorsed by international regulatory agencies like Food and Agricultural Organization, like World Health Organization, by scientific bodies and all, because they are highly scrutinized, they are highly regulated. Safety tests are being carried out. You have to test for toxicity, whether the gene has brought in any allergen or any protein that is toxic. You have to really ascertain. All sorts are being done. Then you have to also ensure that the composition of what you have, the proximate analysis, that's the nutritional composition, is as same as that of the parent of your crop that you have developed. That's the conventional counterpart. You have to ensure that nothing new that is not beneficial has been brought in. They're very, very safe. They are highly regulated. They're highly tested. The most tested foods in the history of mankind. And they have safe use, like 22 years history of safe use in other parts of the world where commercialization and adoption have taken place, where farmers are enjoying and consumers are also getting nutritional foods, and the industries are getting raw materials, quality raw materials, of course.
What other benefits do Nigeria start to derive when they embrace this technology? Benefit to the farmer, benefit to the country.
Yes, benefits to the farmer. Of course, the farmers will have access to quality seeds that will give them 100% germination, seeds that are viable, and then seeds that are already improved, either for drought tolerance, either for insect resistance, either for nitrogen use efficiency, or either for salt tolerance in terms of rice. And then farmers will have a yield increase, because if you take care of the challenges that make farmer not to have high productivity or strong yields, because farming is all about yield. If you don't have strong yields, then there's no profit. So farmers will really be empowered. They'll make money, they'll be able to take their children to school, and then they'll have access to international markets because they give you quality produce. You can develop some crops to elongate their shelf life, to be able to keep long. So this also helps in post-harvest losses. Some perishable foods like fruits and vegetables, they can't keep too long. That's why we have a lot of wastages in Nigeria. And so for the industries will have access to quality raw materials. Raw materials will be everywhere. We don't need to import. And then reduction in pesticide use. Farmers do not have to spray 10-12 times for them to have strong yields. So the reduction in pesticide use. And for Nigeria, of course, our GDP will go high. There will be economic growth. Productivity will also rise above what it is, agricultural productivity. And Nigeria will be able to compete in the international trade. We'll be able to export. We'll be net exporters. And we're going to be food secured. Nigeria will be food secured, because with this, there will be abundant food by the time we adopt this technology.
It's a pleasure having you on the program.
Thank you very much, Ifeanyi.
This is where we draw the curtain on this edition of the program. Join us the same time next week for another exciting edition. I am Ifeanyi Ugoke.